For today's trade, coming into the day, we can see we went into this daily fair value gap and we started to go higher. On the 4 hour, this was my target, this high for the day. We never ended up getting there, but that was my overall bias. Coming into the morning, I was looking for this 30-minute gap to send us higher, which it did. On ES, it did. We actually ended up taking out buy side. And so NQ just didn't have the stamina to go all the way up. But if we look at the 15-minute at 9:30, comes down, and I know there's a lot of drawings on here, so it's kind of hard to see, but this wick here, it came down, swept out this intermediate low inside the 15-minute gap here. And so I was looking for a long out of this. But in that leg, the highest time frame inversion was a 5-minute. But we created this 5-minute rejection block, so I was looking for more confirmation. And because I don't have much margin, so I really wanted to take a safe setup. But we'll get into later in this video how I could have traded and ended up making profit instead of getting a break even, which this was a great break even. As you could see, it didn't play out and I would have lost if I didn't go break even, but just because of the nature of things, it didn't play out. But market comes down, creates this rejection block, and the bodies of these candles were respecting the CE of the bullish rejection block there. So that was a very good sign. And then, because even though we hit this 5-minute gap, which I was looking to get inversed, we came down and respected the rejection block after having a nice bullish reaction off this key level here. So I was still looking for the inverse, and as you can see, it only takes 3 candles to get the inverse. If I turn on my executions here, I entered on this candle, but I noticed that I calculated my risk wrong. I was trying to risk $500. I accidentally only risked $250, so I added on like immediately after. This high was inside a 5-minute bearish gap here, and so that was a break-even point for me. And so as soon as it hit that, I went break-even, and then it continued higher. I was just targeting this high here, so which would have given me a 1-to-1, but it ended up break-evening me, and yeah. But stop placement, pretty standard right at the bodies here, because I'm not looking for it after it's done its business down here, sweeping the low inside the key level, then delivering out of a rejection block and beautifully respecting it. There's no reason for it to come down here again. If we go into the 1-minute chart, however, we see 9:30 comes, we immediately manipulate down, and there was actually a 15-second here that I just didn't have the confidence in right here, which would have obviously hit a 1-to-1, but I wasn't very confident putting risk on that. So, but as you can see, the rejection block gets created here. We come up, fail to take out the high, and we run into the 5-minute gap here. It sends us lower, but back into the rejection block. And the rejection block gets supported if the bodies of the candles stay above the CE of the midpoint of the rejection block. So we can see that this 5-minute candle gives us that, and it ended at 9:40. So if we go back to our 1-minute entry here, the 9:40 candle is right here. So that means the 9:40, we would have gotten that confirmation that the body was respecting the midpoint of this rejection block. So a bullish confirmation there. And then the 1-minute inverse out of it. So we can put our stop here. and target. We could even just do that, and it would be a 1-to-1. But that's not what I took, because I was just I didn't even see this in the moment, honestly. I was just waiting for the 5-minute to inverse after we were rejecting this. But this, going forward, is a trade that I'd like to be able to take. Something similar to this, where I'm noticing the key level's been met. We make another like mid time frame level to support price delivering. And that's exactly what it does. And it confirms it perfectly with time. So with the 5-minute candle closing here, and then the new candle opening and perfectly inversing this gap immediately. So that was a beautiful example of how price is delivering well today. But I entered here, obviously targeting this high, and it didn't end up playing out. And that was kind of the safest entry of the day off this 5-minute inverse, and then just going break even at this intermediate high. That's it for the trade today, but very nice day. Very good break even day. Followed all my rules. Didn't revenge, didn't FOMO trade, didn't do any bad stuff. Just maybe could have maximized my entry if I had a little more conviction. But other than that, it's a great day. I preserved capital, and I have, the 2% left in the account for Friday. And if a good setup presents, then I'll execute the same way.